What's up everybody, it's Johnbonne here, hope you're all having a pleasant time. I apologise in advance if the audio isn't particularly good. I've got the microphone next to me, so I'm doing something a little different today. I'm going to be doing a sort of Let's Play style, sort of live commentary of the game as I play it for my first impressions of Meow Motors, the latest kart racing game to come to Steam. So I've already been playing a bit of it. I must admit, I thought I'd been playing it for longer than an hour. And I've actually got a fair way through it. There's actually a fair bit of content here, but I've only played for an hour, and I'm already halfway through it, so I am a bit worried about the length of the game, but hopefully I can give you a good impression. So this will be a bit different to what I normally do. I think I'll prefer this style. Let me know in the comments below if you prefer this. If you don't, that's totally understandable. So, Meow Motors, yes, the latest kart racing game to come to Steam. It currently doesn't have any online multiplayer, though it does have 4-player racing. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff you need for multiplayer has to be unlocked in the campaign. So those vehicles there, I've unlocked in the campaign. These characters here, again, unlocked in the campaign. So you've got 10 characters there, and you've got 10 vehicles there as well. I think there's about 20 levels in the game, so that's pretty good. I've seen about 9 or 10 of them, I would say. So I'm going to show you a couple of them from different areas. So here we've got the first stages here. Actually, I better not show those because those are mostly tutorial ones. Let's have a look at Skull Island instead. So one of the first things I like about the single player and the championship mode is this idea that you unlock power-ups, vehicles, and characters from them. So if I just go into another place, for example, let's have a look here. So I've got the power-up, the ice power-up, which is on the far left at the top of the screen. Then you've got the vehicle later on, but then you need 16 out of however many stars there are. I think there's about 18 stars to be had before you can unlock the level's character. So I think that's a good way of doing the sort of 3-star system that you see in a lot of kart racing games like Tabletop Racing World Tour and Toy Box Turbos. I think we're going to be making quite a few comparisons to those. In order to unlock new championships, you have to have a certain amount of stars in the previous lobby, and I honestly think that they are pretty fair. Like, for example, you only need 16 from the previous lobby to get the next championship. However, there's a total of 21. So I think that's pretty good. Anyway, let's have a look at the racing itself. So we've got 3 different challenges that we can do: strike, drift, and race. I'll show the typical strike, typical drift, and then the typical race as we go along. So I'm sorry if I'm rambling as well. Again, it's the first time in a long time that I've done this. I'm going to be trying a new car that I haven't tried yet. I haven't got any particularly new characters. I've unlocked these ones, I've played them. One of the great things about the game, of course, is that it doesn't have stats for characters. Instead, characters, rather than cars, have different attributes. So, for example, this character doesn't have any penalties when they accelerate from the red zone. Think about when you, when you start the starting line, you sort of build up your boost, your initial boost. This character isn't slowed down by being in the red zone, and I'll have to show that in a short while. This character uses oil, one of the one of the more expensive, I should say, power-ups in the game. By the way, every single character and player has 3 initial power-ups: nitro, oil, and fire, that could be used by spending energy, which you get from drifting and jumping and things like that. Again, all of this I'll be demonstrating. Again, this character gets more energy from jumping and colliding with other players and things. And here we've got someone who isn't affected by the outer track terrain, so, or the wayside as they call it, which I much prefer as a word. So I'm going to choose the character. What are we doing again? Is it race? Right, okay, I want a good character for racing then. I'd like someone who's got energy. So I'm either going to go for Lily or Rusty. I think I'll go for Lily. I think Lily's one of my favourite characters so far. Oil's quite expensive, so I like to be able to put out a bit more oil than other characters, which eventually slows down other players. So as you can see here, this is the acceleration I was referring to before. By getting into the green zone, by holding down the acceleration for long enough, you can get a little boost. Oops, daisy. Sorry, I'm drifting and I'm not really concentrating. Yeah, so the first thing I want to say is the drifting in this game is not particularly pleasant. If you played Tabletop Racing World Tour, basically here you get to drift along the track, except you do it with a button press. So on my Xbox One controller, it's the B button. Which, I mean, it's good that I'm in control of the drift, but it's a shit drift because I keep colliding into things. I mean, it doesn't help that I'm not really concentrating either. This is the first time I've seen the ice power up as well. So I didn't know really what to expect there. So I'm just going to try and drift a bit more. But yeah, it's not a very good drift. It's not like power sliding in Crash Team Racing or Mario Kart or Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, where you're actually in a lot more control of it. You can exit the drift. You can get a nice little boost by building up and things like that. So you're rewarded for staying in the drift, rather the power slide. I mean, I guess you are here as well. But it's not as... I don't really think it's as rewarding, if I'm honest, and it's a lot harder to control. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of concentration again. It's been a while since I did sort of live commentary over games, so yeah. Oh, this is going to be really good when I do my podcast with Richard. So yeah. So yeah, I like the idea of the power-up mechanics as well that they've got. So the idea is that you unlock your power-ups through the single-player campaign. That's not particularly great for multiplayer, and I would hope maybe they change that for online multiplayer at the very least. I mean, if you've got local multiplayer, I mean, someone's bound to take an interest in the single player anyway. So yeah, but I do like the idea of unlocking the power-ups, and I do also like that as throughout the game you are going to see a much greater variety of them, rather than just the same ones over and over again. The first power-up that you'll see in the game is the machine gun, and I absolutely hate it. The reason why I hate the machine gun power-up is because it's just spam, basically, just constantly being bumped all the time. And as your car takes damage, your car becomes slower. So when you're constantly being hit by this weapon, it's really annoying. I mean, it's a good power-up because it's annoying, but at the same time, it really doesn't make the game feel good. You know, it doesn't make it feel like it's got any flow to it. I think the frequency of power-ups as well is a bit of a problem. That I find there's way too many power-ups and way too few ways to counter them. For example, like those shark cannons there, constantly been attacked. I've got some footage somewhere of me being attacked by like a streak of 5 of them, and I had a shield power-up that could only block 3 of them, I think. So it is a bit of a problem, but they are homing weapons, so that is to be expected. And as you know, with it being in early access, I will be taking advantage of that and trying to provide as much feedback as I can to make sure then that the spam is reduced, or that you know, shark weapons have shorter range, or the machine gun has a longer range but perhaps slower burst fire and things like that. So yeah, I want to provide as many suggestions as I can while it's in early access. So in terms of the difficulty of the AI is actually really good. I think very intelligent, very aggressive. They're using power-ups quite intelligently, except for the machine gun. I think if they're in first place, they'll just use it rather than drop it. Dropping items is an option that you do have. But yeah, I don't like how the AI is sort of clustered. I'm not a big fan of that, if I'm totally honest. Sorry, I'm just having a look at another character to play as. Okay. Right, that'll be useful for the initial thing. So now we're going to be doing strike mode, where basically it's kind of like an elimination mode or takedown mode, where you've got to destroy as many players as you can. You get a point for every car you destroy, but you lose a point every time your car is destroyed. And unlike everyone else, you have 5 hit points. And you can also repair your vehicle as well. This is something I like about the game. I'm not a big fan of cars having health. Never been a big fan of that in games, but I do like that you can repair your vehicle, so you can take the chance to repair your vehicle rather than pick up an offensive item and things like that. But they are considerably rarer, or rather considerably more rare. I don't know what's grammatically correct or not. So yeah, so we're just doing the strike mode now. Again, sorry, still not got anything interesting to say at the moment. My concentration is broken by the slightest noise. I think the shield power-up could do with a bit of a upgrade, if I'm honest. I think it lasts for too short a time. If you notice it, where I've got my power-ups, there's a sort of electrical lightning ring that allows me to sort of supercharge my weapons. I fail to remember how you build that up, but honestly, I'm not a big fan of the idea of having to power up your weapons when the weapon power-ups don't really sort of seem to do anything. I'm doing really poorly, I must admit. Yeah, so like for example, like the duration of shield doesn't seem to have been affected by, you know, by my power-up being powered up, basically. I'm not a big fan of that at all. I don't mind power-ups when they're noticeable, like for example in Oh, well, I did really poorly there, but I think you get the gist of that mode. I'll try and find another one to do, or maybe lower the difficulty, I don't know. So yeah, like, I don't mind it in Crash Team Racing, where, for example, where the Wumper actually really has a noticeable effect. So every single character, every single item is noticeably more powerful when you have Wumper and things like that. So I like that aspect a lot. Alright, so we're doing the drift mode now. Pretty simple stuff. We've seen this before in other kart racing games. The idea is you drift for points, and you get a multiplier for the longer you drift. You get more stars the more points you get. You accumulate. That was the word I was looking for. God almighty. See, I think I've got quite an extensive vocabulary, but I just can't put it into use in this kind of video. But I still think this is going better. I think I've covered way more points in way less time, and I've remembered more things that I normally would in the other format. But if you guys don't enjoy it, then I can always change it. Because I like doing these first impressions videos, like covering content, even though the game hasn't fully released. So, yeah, and I think as well with it being a kart racing game, you know, it's something I can enjoy, and hopefully it's something you guys can enjoy. And I think it fits the sort of new format of the channel I'm going to go with. So yes, so far I've had a really solid impression. My only real problem is the drift. It's just very hard to control, and I don't mind slamming into walls at the end of a boost with any other game's power sliding mechanics, because then I can sort of put that on myself. But when I can't control the drift, when I can't exit it, when I can't you know, sort of control it any better, I do think that's a problem with the game rather than a problem with me. I'm going to try and take the shortcut for once. Yes, the levels do have some shortcuts, some of them better than that, I must admit. I don't think that was really much of a shortcut. Not that it really matters anyway, because we're doing drift mode. The idea is that you do more turns rather than, you know, just complete the level faster. Yeah, I must admit, I'm normally better than this. I mean, you can tell by the star ratings that I've received before that I've done better. What I have failed to mention so far, though, is that difficulty is that progress is progress is shared with difficulty. So when I go into hard mode, I've got the exact same ratings. If I go back into easy mode, I've still got the same star ratings. So that means then it's less content, and that's something I really liked about Sonic and All Stars Racing. Is that your progress is shared with difficulty, at least in Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing. I don't know if that applied to Transformed. I can't remember. I haven't played that since I reviewed it. Actually, no, shortly after. Right, so it's a race. So again, I want. I think I'm going to go for Rocky again, the first character. So yeah, really my biggest problem is with the drift. I think this game is mostly ready to go out. I say it just needs online multiplayer. I've got a video on that later. But yeah, I think it's doing quite well. I look forward to the bug fixes. I think there are some buffs and nerfs to be made. That need to be made. For example, I think one of the characters, Lily, I think her name was, the one that has the cheaper oil power-up, which I'll demonstrate now. So you also get points for that. Which then gives you more energy to spend on Nitro, which I just messed up completely there. God almighty, you know, I'm trying to do more videos on kart racing and I just completely suck at it. It's embarrassing. See, this is why I don't do Let's Plays. I like to have my recorded footage that I can, you know, choose what I want to show. Actually, that sounded really bad, didn't it? You know, that sounded like I'm trying to doctor these reviews or whatever. God almighty. But yeah, I think the game so far is really good. I don't think it needs much in the way of bug fixes, polishing. The maps look absolutely beautiful. From what I understand, we have got all the maps, all the characters, all the vehicles. I've not really noticed any bugs besides the graphical one that requires you to change your NVIDIA settings. It gives you a green and pink screen, basically. All you need to do for that one, basically, is just change some settings in the NVIDIA control panel. Super easy. The devs have got a guide on it. And, you know, they were quick to release that the moment the game came out. So that was good. So, yeah, I haven't really seen any complaints from the community, bearing in mind, of course, the game's only just come out. But, yeah, the biggest complaint right now is the lack of online multiplayer. And, again, video on that soon. But I honestly don't think it has that big an impact on the game. And I know it sounds like such a big deal. But honestly, I don't really think it is as big as people make it out to be, because when you have a look at the numbers, you realise very few people are actually playing the online multiplayer segments of these games. That probably wasn't the best place to use nitro, nor this one. Just put a bit of oil down, see how far people are behind. Crikey. They're not actually that far behind. I need to get my arse in gear. So yeah, I'm sorry if I'm going quiet, I just don't really have much to say at the moment. But yeah, I think another thing as well, the map design is really good. I've noticed the tracks are quite long. Not as long as something like Renzo Racer, where like they're 3 minutes long or whatever. Then again, that's mostly got to do with the controls. I've got almighty, please, whatever you do, do not look at Renzo Racer. Don't buy it. No. I need to do a review on that when it comes out, but I mean, it's only had like 3 patches. I mean, I'm sure the developers got good intentions with it, but I mean, when you look at the game, it just doesn't look that way, to be honest. I think you've got to be really forgiving. You've got to be really liberal with your thoughts on with your criticisms, I think, to enjoy Renzo Racer, which is a good job I am, really, because I'm not so critically bankrupt as to say that it's just a Mario Kart ripoff and leave it there. I like to expand the horizons. I think kart races have. Kart races have been around much longer than Mario Kart, but I think as well there's more to kart racing than just Mario Kart, especially with things like Mario Kart 8. I'm sorry, I'm going way too much into my thoughts on other kart races, not really focused on this one, am I? But yeah, I don't really have much to say. I just enjoy all the mechanics. The track design's fantastic. Lots of shortcuts, lots of forks in the road, so you get to choose different areas. I'm just trying to get used to really a lot of the maps. Map knowledge is key to a lot of these games, and I'm trying to get used to drifting into those shortcuts and things like that, and noticing them before I pass them. It's a shame, really, because I used to have a lot. I used to have quite the understanding of shortcuts and things. I used to have a really good eye for shortcuts in kart racing games, and like now I'm struggling to find the ones in Lego Racers, which is another game I've been playing, and it's a lot more brutal than I remember. So yeah, I've not been enjoying that all that much. I probably will review it though. At some point, but I'm sorry again. I'm going off topic, aren't I? And no, but then again, maybe these videos will be a good excuse to talk about other things as well, not just with reviews and games of the same genre and whatnot. But yeah, maybe I'll do it as a regular feature, do it as one video. But I don't know, no idea. Now let's see if I can actually use this power up to its full efficiency. I haven't really used the ice power-up, I've only just unlocked it, and yet I understand it's a cool power-up, I just don't know how it works. Ah, there we go! Nice. Destroyed someone. I mean, I love the animations as well. I love the animations for the power-ups. They're absolutely terrific. I don't think I've enjoyed them since like Tabletop Racing World Tour, and I did that review like either last year or 2 years ago. Pretty sure it was last year. No, it might have been 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not really concentrating, am I? I need to focus on... Oh, damn it, I used that a bit too early. Oh yes, I think I better explain as well. I mean, I've got this on my YouTube description page, but or rather about page. But my rig, the Queen Anne's Revenge. I don't know why I wanted to call it that. I think it was to do with the Corsair peripherals I wanted for it, but I didn't add in the end. Try and ram someone. Yes, got him. Right. Yeah. So my specs are GTX 1070 from Palette, i3-8100 from Intel 8th Gen, 8 gig of RAM. I don't know what the PSU is, if I'm honest, because I bought my PC from overclockers. So, of course, they're very conservative with that information. Oh, I didn't get any stars for that one. Oh, well, right, time to do something else. Ah, now they're starting to recycle the maps. Oh, dear. Which one haven't I played yet? I don't think I've played that one. No, let's do a race. I'm good at races. I can show you something good with races. play a character that I don't think I've played him yet. Let's go with a different car as well. It's a pity there's not really that many colours for the cars either. But yeah, and the game runs absolutely beautifully, except for that initial problem with the video graphics cards. It's pretty good, and as I say, the guide's nice and easy to follow. That they and the video have got up, and apparently there's no fix for it right now, so you are going to have to do this. I've had to do that twice now though, so I think every time I play this game I'm going to have to go into my video settings and change it, unless I can find a way to sort of save the settings, but I don't know, and hopefully it hasn't affected any other games. I haven't been playing any other games since this one. Mind you, I've only had an hour, so I don't think I can really be blamed for that. But yeah, I seriously, I've enjoyed this game that much. I can't believe only an hour had gone by. An hour and 20 minutes. Actually, I think my total playtime would be an hour and a half. So yeah, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Wait, was that a Ferrari promotion just there? I'm pretty sure I just saw Ferrari. Unless it was like Ferrari or something. God almighty. Yeah, if you're going to do a game with cats, of course you're going to have cat puns, don't you? Actually, that's something else I want to talk about. There aren't really any sort of cat-themed things in this game. Like they lost a massive opportunity to turn this place into a giant cat litter tray or something like that, you know? Oh, I missed that shortcut there again. I'm not very good with the shortcuts, but it's only because I don't like the... I'm not a big fan of the steering. The steering is very floaty. I think I need to talk more about the controls. Yeah, the steering is incredibly floaty in this game. So that's why I'm often running into power-ups and things like that, because you sort of just like drift. You sort of float from one side to another. It's like you're on a cloud or whatever, and it's really smooth. But I think that's the problem. Like, there's not enough grip or traction from the tires. I like to feel as though I'm not necessarily sticking to the road as such, but that I've got some grip, you know. Because if I'm sticking to the road, then I feel like my tyres are melting, and that's the feeling I got from Renzo Racer. But I don't want it to be too floaty like this, or too slippery like... play another character. Drift mode. Yeah, I might get some use out of this character of this map. But yeah, I don't want the controls to feel too slippery. Like Lego Racers, which has a really bad handbrake. God almighty. But I don't want it to be, you know, I don't want the tyres to feel like they're melting, or the road's made of, you know, wet tarmac or whatever, like a Renzo Racer. I really do think like the Sonic games got it right, and this is close to that, but I don't think quite close enough. So I think, yeah, some more traction would be much appreciated, or more friction. I don't know what the word is. You know, I'm just trying to pretend like I know what words mean. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm mostly satisfied. I just think the drift needs to change. But then again, you know, if every kart racing game's just going to be like Crash Team Racing or Mario Kart or the Sonic games, are we really going to make any more progress? Are we really going to see any more of these? And I don't think that's the answer, you know. So rather than ask for that, I think improve, you know, maybe improve the drifting so it's a bit more tight. And allow me to exit it. So, you know, instead of just like pressing the button, let me hold it down forever. Or whatever, and then let me leave it the moment I let go of the button, something like that. So I think that would massively improve the experience. One thing I do like about the game is these long stretches of road, because you can get some really good fights out of these. I mean, I'm obviously not going to see it in drift mode, but you do get some, and also as well the size of the tracks as well is really nice. So you get plenty of width there to travel along and you know, and face your opponents and ram into them, or use your power-ups to full efficiency and things like that. So that's quite good. Ah, no! Oh, damn, I hit mine. I hope the mines are a power-up, because I don't think there's really enough... I don't think I've got any stationary weapons at the moment. They're also like direct against players, like projectiles and the like, so, or area of effect. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing those mines as a power-up, but I don't know when I'll unlock those. You never know, it might be the next one. Let's have a look. So yeah, I hope that's given you a good impression at least. I mean, we're now 25 minutes in, I hope. I mean, I've said everything I wanted to, really, I think. Oh, I think it might be mine. I'll do one more and just see what the next unlock is. We're in a race. Okay. Well, seeing as I've made quite a few mistakes, it would be a good idea to have someone by the wayside. I'm making this sound like a bigger deal than it is, don't I? Like the characters have that massive a boost in performance. Really, they don't. I think this is one of the best ways to do sort of like stats. If you've got to have characters that are different or whatever, then yeah, either that or the rule of KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. For example, like with Crash Team Racing, you've got 3 stats, and the differences are abundantly clear and noticeable as well. So, for example, I mean, like, the game can be beaten as any character. You know, like Tiny Tiger or Dingo Dial, they have the most speed, but they have the worst turn and acceleration. But the game could still be beaten by them, just as the game could be beaten by beginner characters. Yes, Polar and Pura have the lowest speed in the game, but they have the best turn and acceleration. And, you know, they're good characters, you know, they're still competitive, you know, like, don't forget that. They're still very competitive. So I quite like that. Now, I don't know if the characters have these same effects in the multiplayer. I don't know if the effects apply or if everyone's the same. I think in multiplayer, though, maybe have the effects the same. But if you go for things like time trials and whatnot, then yeah. Oh, that's something else I need to have a look at as well. I think there's a time trial mode, but I haven't actually seen anything of it yet. If there is, I'll do a quick show of that, and then we'll wrap up. Drop that weapon because I don't need it. Oh, I was hit by something. Oh, right, okay. They're not far behind. Drop some oil. I need to go for that turn there. I'll have to do it on the next map. Speaking of the maps, the themes are okay. I quite like the idea. I like the fact that there's quite a few maps that are in night as well. I quite like that. The darkness in the levels can affect my ability to navigate them, though. So, for example, without those clear turn signs, I'm just totally screwed. I just can't see where I'm going. I'll miss a lot of shortcuts and things like that. And, I mean, in saying that, though, I do think some of the shortcuts need to be a bit better hidden. So then it, you know, really is a shortcut. It's a lot less obvious. I think that's the beauty of them. So yeah, I'm gonna miss a few, but that's okay. That's the point of a shortcut, especially if it's a useful one. In fact, speaking of which, I think that one that I want is coming up soon. I don't have any attention span when it comes to kart races and shortcuts and things. Right, I think it's coming up now. I'm actually trying to slow down just so I can go through there. I don't know what to do there. It's probably not going to do anything for me. I mean, I'm already in first place, so yeah. Let's see if I can escape this rocket. Come on! No. Right, okay. I used a ton of nitro for that. I don't know how much I had. I'll check back when I look at this footage, but. Yeah, I think the effective range of that needs to be reduced. Then again, you know, I think rather than just like make it disappear, make it explode before it finishes. Oh, this is quite nice. I like this area. You know, either make it explode upon, you know, failing to hit its target, or it chooses another target. That's something I would suggest. Oh yeah, the game has achievements and lore as well. I just know galore as well. I just noticed that one there. Yeah, there's a ton of achievements. Within an hour, I've got like, I think 30, I think. I mean, it's not just like one of those achievement, you know, games for the sake of getting achievements. Oh, destroy. So that'll be a mine then. There we go. Nice. And I like as well that it's applied there on the back of the car, not just on the front as well. So let's have a look. Is there a... There doesn't appear to be the time attack mode. I think they're adding that later. I failed to remember. I'll have to check the store page. But tell you what, we'll do one more thing. Let's see if I can do a better job of a strike match, and then we'll conclude, I think. So yeah. So yeah, and I really do hope that you guys have enjoyed this, because if this works out well, I'll do this for other games as well. you know, I mean, I'm not going to be doing it on a regular basis, I don't think, but, you know, it'd be nice to chat and talk about a game, or, you know, I can use it for, like, review notes and things like that. I could really do with that for LEGO Racers, because I don't want to, you know, I want to make sure that I do a good job of reviewing that, because I think there's going to be a lot of people who enjoy it, and I don't want to piss them off, but at the same time, you know... Oh, nice, okay, but yeah, I also don't want to, you know, just lie about the game for the sake of pleasing them. Oh, nice, so I think I killed someone with that mine. That's pretty good. Another thing, if I had to suggest another feature, I'd say maybe use those, I think it's called the Impulse. Maybe make the sort of AoE electricity thing do, like, so you destroy the missile, you know? Or, you know, defend against bullets, things like that, because I think just having one shield power-up is a bit cack. I mean, I can understand a lot of hardcore racing game players will be okay with that. You know, and I am, you know, if you can have the shield, but I would say then, okay, fine, make it last longer or make it more frequent. Because I don't like not being able to counter things, you know? Or maybe reserve oh, sorry, I was just about to suggest a sort of random power-up mechanic then, but that doesn't work in the context of this game. So the further behind you are, I was going to say the further behind you are, the more likelihood you have the shark missile. Or rather, of getting the shark missile. Another thing I don't like as well is that when you've got the shield, you can't pick up any other weapons, and any other weapons you may have are not stored. So while the shield's active, I should say. Wait, did I just destroy someone with oil? Maybe they crashed into a wall or something, I don't know. Yeah, I'm also having a bit of trouble as well picking up items as well, I don't know why, but every time I'm hit I can't seem to pick up an item. I don't know if items are destroyed when my car's damaged, but that's something that I would, I'd look at carefully as well, closely rather. Alright, I'm going to conclude it there. So yeah, my first impressions are... yeah, pretty solid recommendation. I mean, unless you're waiting for the multiplayer, I don't recommend getting it until that's added, but it does have 4-player local multiplayer. From what I understand, there will be time attack modes. And yeah, there's quite a bit of content to do there. However, I think I will be completing this in about 3-4 hours. And when it leaves early access, I'm not sure if there's going to be much for me to do there. Oh yeah, one more thing as well is unlocking tracks. I think you have to play some of the campaign before you unlock all of the tracks. So that was another thing in quick play. You can't even do that, which is very similar to LEGO Racers, where you can't even practice on those maps until you've unlocked them in the campaign. So that's not really something I liked very much. But then again, I did try doing a quick race before I got into the campaign. So yeah. So, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that video. Thank you ever so much for watching, and hopefully there's no problems with the microphone like there normally is. I'm going to get off now. My name has been Johnbonne, and this has been Meow Motors. Alright, take care. Ta-ta for now.